Hey everybody, you're listening once more to Shield Bro every week, except when we miss weeks constantly.
Yep.
With Best Guy Ever.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Sorry to keep you waiting.
And we're going to be talking about episodes 11 and 12 this time. The whole story of the second wave. What did you think of these episodes, Nate?
They were pretty good. I suppose I'm a little bit struggling to have particularly strong emotions. There were good points to both of them. I thought, I don't know, episode 12 had a strong ending. And there was some dope things that happened in it. The first one, episode 11. So we start the second wave. We get into it. We fight all the way through. I mean, it was pretty good. Like, again, animation is not amazing in the show. There wasn't a lot of great fighting animation. It was basically kind of like a teamwork story that they have to learn to work together and trust Naofumi. We get a little bit of cool stuff with him using his shield. And I mean, at the end, then he gets kind of like almost a super ultra finisher that he gets unlocked through the Rage Shield moves.
Yeah.
And that was dope. That was super cool. Overall, like, if we're doing one episode at a time, it was kind of like relatively mediocre-ish overall with a kind of hype fight ending. And then the second episode was better. Second episode had more going on. What do you think?
I'm not gonna lie. Episode 11, I was pretty fucking checked out for most of it. Like, it was kind of like the giant Iron Maiden appeared in the sky, and I woke up and was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, wait, what's happening?
And that
now?
was pretty cool. I like that.
There's an Iron Maiden in the sky.
It looked, frankly,
I
it looked
wasn't
dope
paying
as hell.
attention.
Like, he gets this ultimate power. So whatever. Okay, so like the narrative of the first episode is it's I mean, like, how many times do we have to see this? I suppose it hasn't been that many, but like, oh no, the heroes aren't working together. They're not taking it seriously. Shield Bro needs to come in and like actually think about how to approach this situation as if it were real life and not a game. And he does, and then they unlock the enemy, and oh no, the other guys, their attacks are ineffective. Now Fumi needs to use his Rage Super Shield powers. And when he does, like, frankly, it looked sick. The Iron Maiden, like, unlocks some, like, combo power attack thing, and he combines a bunch of them.
It was definitely a big surprise.
Yeah.
Because, like, I didn't realize we were this far along on the power creep scale, so to speak. Like, it felt like a pretty big jump in, like, going from, shooting, like, kind of energy beams or, like, just using regular shields to, like, summoning a giant fucking Iron Maiden out of the sky to clamp down on a giant monster. It was like, whoa.
I mean, because
definitely some album cover type of shit there.
That's definitely true. And like, in terms of like power scaling, like he had just unlocked, I don't know, like a lot happened here. Like, he unlocks seemingly like combination attacks at the same time as this like ultimate attack. So like, he does some sort of like shield prison, which I don't think he's done before, which is like a ball that it's clearly like a combination of like airstrike shield with like chains around it or something, which I don't know. I gathered from the episode it seemed like a combo.
I thought he did shield prison in the fight with the spear guy.
Am I wrong about that? Okay, I might just be wrong about that. If so, well, okay, fair enough. Fuck me.
I think he's had it before.
Okay, maybe what was being implied there was just like the Iron Maiden or whatever was like a combo thing. Anyway, whatever it was, it was cool. But yeah, like, this is like almost like a god level power. And like the other guys say, like, wow, this is like a cheat power, dude. This is like way stronger. I mean, because it's part of the Curse series, I guess, which I don't know if you're like not supposed to have access to that, or like, would the other guys have a Curse series if they were also incels who, were mad at all women? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert, but I've heard that's basically the case. That everybody
I'm unaware.
All of the heroes have access to Curse series as a thing that they can unlock. I don't know if they all have the same skill tree and that it's just different interpretations by the weapons. Like, it might work like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, where like everybody can learn every ability, but it manifests differently, but I don't know, because we are not far enough along yet. But yeah, I mean, I honestly, aside from the Iron Maiden moment, I cannot be asked to have felt anything about episode 11. This show has a tendency to to right at the very last minute
Yeah.
finally do something just intriguing enough to make me want to know what's going on and want to see the next episode, but then to never quite get it, never quite get what I want, you know? At episode 11, I was pretty checked out, I was pretty bored, but then at the end, it was like, oh shit, new character arrival,
The
big
true
fucking
final
deal.
boss. Yeah.
We're learning some more, like we're peeling back the curtain a little bit. All right, here's an intrigue. Here's something that's going to be learned about in the near future. When we get to the next episode, we don't learn anything about it.
We get like the fight, and we kind of learn like what her power level is, which is way higher than everybody else's. But we learn nothing.
I also really despised the fight in episode 12.
Yeah.
And not because
it was worse.
The attacks are fine. You know, like I understand why, and I know a lot of people are gonna really be like offended that I just said that, because I think the people who like this show are in for the haul, and people who don't like the show have probably given up by now.
Probably, yeah.
But this type of fight I can't stand, where I can tell nobody's gonna die in this fight.
Yes.
Like we're not. This is not a place dramatically where it makes any sense for anybody to die. It's probably not going to happen. You don't feel much sense of tension. So it's more just about showing off powers. It's like, let's show just how much stronger this character is than everybody else. And we do this by the most, like, I don't understand why Shield Bro didn't just hit her with his most powerful attack right away. Why we had to go through every single character using every single ability they have, and this person deflecting them all until we get to finally he uses the big one, and then she deflects that too. And it's like, yeah, I get it. She's really strong. But the reason this had to play out this way is that we have to run out the timer, basically.
Yes, that's true.
On the thing. And
literally.
Oh boy, like, because this is it's kind of a staple of fantasy action series that I've always had a problem with, where the bad guy shows up, fights the good guy, and then just for one reason or another just leaves them alive. And it's just like, oh, I'll have to continue this next time. If this person is as powerful as they seem, I don't understand how they couldn't have just gone like, all right, time's running out. Well, I still need you dead, so let me just decapitate you in like 1 second.
Yes.
Like, she seems powerful enough to do that. She could just kill them all at any point she wants. And I don't really know if there's a reason for her to keep them alive. I don't know if she was just fucking around. I really don't know, but
it's a common trope that you see all the time. And like, if I had to pick a hard and fast like lore reason why that's the case, I would say it's probably because like she was just toying with them. Like, okay, like she shows up, she seems very interested in like the hero specifically, and she appears to have some connection to the waves. When it ends, like she has to leave. There's like a timer. So like there's some lore connection going on here. We have no idea. Okay, fine. And like it seems to her like she's like, oh, like she is disappointed that they get away. Like I think she would have liked to have killed them, but she just seemed like she was there to show off a bit. So like I would estimate that she's here to like test their limits. I mean, we have no idea. Like she seems to be part of an organization. She says a lot of like we and stuff going on. So like, what is this organization? What is their goal? Like, what benefits do they get? And
that's exactly the trick.
Yeah,
that's how they narratively are able to make something like this happen. Is by we know so little that we can't really question it. Aside from in a metatextual sense of knowing this storytelling trick.
Yes.
Of saying, okay, I see what you're doing here, and I am annoyed that you're doing it because I always am. Because I don't like to be manipulated in this particular way. You know?
Gotcha.
And like this character shows up, and her purpose here.
Her name is Glass. Interesting name.
So if her purpose here was not to kill Shield Bro.
Yeah.
Then, well, if her purpose was to kill him, then she looks like an idiot because she didn't get it done in time.
Yeah. I guess it wasn't that big a deal. I don't know.
Right. It seemingly could have done it at any moment.
Or at least she could have at least killed the other heroes. Like if she really wants to kill them, it's a good idea to kill them before they get a chance to like get stronger. Now is a really good time to do that. But I mean, maybe this is building to like it's helpful. There's some narratives where like you want your enemy to get stronger. This is like actually a thing in Final Fantasy 15. The bad guy specifically needed Noctis to become more powerful because it was only at that point that killing him would like do the important thing. That was like,
and I've seen that justification a bunch of times. So like, and it's always, I find it kind of groan worthy because it's just basically an excuse to justify why a villain who could have killed the protagonist at any time didn't, you know? But in this case, they don't even give us any reason for now. So like maybe it's because of that, maybe whatever. The point is that we don't know. So we are left to wonder, okay, well, if we didn't really, if we don't know anything about this, what do we know? Like, what does this scene exist to teach us? And what it exists to teach us is simply that there is more to this than meets the eye.
Correct.
Which I already figured out. Like, I already knew there was going to be more to this, and we didn't really learn much of anything. We know that there are super powerful fighters, and that there's some secret truth. I think she says something like the truth about the waves or something, or the truth battle of the wave.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's it. That's all we learn. So, like, this whole fight, this whole half an episode is just for the sake of that. And, you know,
pretty much,
again, there is some halfway decent animation in this one. Some of the attacks are kind of cool in concept, but, like, there was nothing like special about this battle.
Well, I've got one criticism, which is that so in episode 11 we see like all the heroes basically failing to kill the dimensional soul eater when it finally shows up or whatever. They're all using like these lightning attacks. Okay, weird point. Immediately when this lady shows up and just like talks a little bit of shit, she's like, "You're Naofumi's servant." Haha. They all get pissed and they immediately pull out seemingly like strong. They all use these like meteor attacks that they did not use against the boss that they were struggling with. And I mean, I don't know, maybe they just weren't taking it that seriously. But like if they had stronger attacks, why didn't they use it against the boss they were just fighting and struggling against? Yeah. I mean, that just seems odd. Maybe they just thought Naofumi would take care of it eventually and weren't that worried about it. I don't know.
I mean, and that comes back to like my question of like, Naofumi keeps using all these different attacks, and then she's like, "Oh, you're clearly hiding an ace up your sleeve. Why don't you use that?" And I'm like, why keep it up your sleeve? Like, why risk the lives of you and your companions by not finishing this as quickly as possible,
Well, you know what?
A demonstrably very powerful opponent.
I'll give them one small piece. It's no full justification or anything, but like you can see after all the sword guy and the other heroes get knocked down, we see like an SP potion roll up to Naofumi and he drinks it. And it's after that he does a couple of attacks, which I think culminate in him using like, or maybe he used it immediately. The point was like the narrative seemed to point out that he needed to refill his SP or whatever before he could do it. So maybe there's a defense that's like conservation of SP and like wanting to make sure he's prepared for, continual threats. Again, like narratively, that basically doesn't mean anything. And like the author could have just said he had more SP or anything like that. So that's not a major defense, but like maybe there was something going on with that. I
would have liked more lip service to it if that was the case,
Yeah.
Like, just to say it outright. Shit, I don't have enough SP to use my super move. Oh, good. A SP bottle.
I guess they were trying to be subtle. I don't know.
Maybe.
I did kind of enjoy, like, I mean, I always like watching Naofumi, even if it's kind of cliched to watch him just be, like, smarter than everybody. I liked him, like, figuring out that there were, like, bad guys in the shadows in episode 11. I liked him, like, using light tactically to get away from the lady, and, just blind her temporarily so they could run away. And I kind of enjoyed the sequence a lot where, like, as they're fleeing from her, she shoots, like, a million projectiles. And I enjoyed the animation quite a bit, like, as they're, like, it really feels high stakes. And, I mean, that's the point of this, is to build up the threat of this character. And as they're running away, like, Firo's, like, dodging against him. And, again, I don't have a lot of tension that, like, we're gonna die or anything like that.
Yeah.
Though, I kind of wish there was a moment where, like, she gets within Firo's guard, and Firo's very up in your face when she's in big bird form. She's not afraid to, get close to enemies and whatnot. Like, there's a moment where she gets really close and just, like, taps her with her fan, and she goes flying. And what I was kind of hoping to see was Firo actually get kind of seriously hurt. Not because I want to see Pharaoh hurt or anything, but I'm like, this is how you add stakes. This is how you make me afraid for the survival of our characters. And so I don't know.
Everybody could have got. I mean,
Yeah.
even if we're watching like say One Piece, right? Like there might be a moment where say Sanji walks into a battle and gets like so wounded he can't even fight, like right off the bat.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Bam, shot in the leg, and then he's back on the boat for the rest of the arc. Like that makes us really feel like, oh shit, that guy's not even around to help with this fight. Nothing like that though.
No, and I do feel the show is a little too safe. And I mean, this has been probably a problem since the very beginning, since the light novel. I think that the story, it's just kind of, I don't know, it's edgy, but it's weirdly kind of like young adult fiction-y in that like nothing feels truly dangerous. To be fair, this character was the best they've done at building up to that so far, I would say. And I don't know, maybe like the fight against the dogs, where Naofumi actually bled.
The fear of fake out has like kind of ruined its ability to make you think that they're gonna die anytime soon. Like I mean, there was a moment where I was like, well, like if anybody was gonna die in this fight, it would be Firo, except that there's no way they would do that right after faking it out.
Oh, that's true. That's definitely true.
It's just odd. I don't know why they did that fake out thing. Like,
I don't know. I mean, because it was a guy writing a light novel or something, and he felt that now would be a good time to do a fake out, and it's just propagated through the story, I guess. And it's like fucking
very strange. I think the artwork and animation in this episode in 12 is, because 11 it was just kind of shit for the most part, but in 12 there are moments that it looks okay, and like the aesthetic of the wave was very all over the place, because like the very first shot of the episode is like CGI boat flying through the sky over the mountains and all this shit, and I didn't even think it looked bad. It just looked crazy. It looked totally insane.
That's true.
Weird mishmash of colors and CG, and I was just like, whoa, what in the fuck is happening? And then like sometimes I liked the look of the boat, and sometimes I liked the weird spiraling sky and all that and shit. But then sometimes when the sea, like there's one shot of the girl with the fan like running to the back of the boat after Naofumi and crew have jumped off. And like the boat's in CG, but she's in 2D, and it just looks really jarring. And, again, there's other times where it looks fine, but like then later in the episode, those fucking horses, dude. Tell me you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I might not have been paying attention. Is this like at the very end when the knights show up? Okay,
when they show up, there's a shot of all the horses like running towards Naofumi, or running towards the camera, and they look really bad, and like their run cycle is terrible. And then like not long before that, there's one shot that's like a few seconds long.
Oh my god, they're like
this
jostling.
Weird...
Oh Christ! Yeah, all right.
Did you see the weird bird, the weird CG bird
yes,
that's just kind of hanging in the sky for a second? And I was like, why would you fixate on that?
They've got I mean, that's true. Like there was a weird focus on that, but like I've noted, I was watching in the episode before, like during the wave, there just are weird CG like animals like in the sky during the wave, and at the end, like they focus on one, and like it doesn't look good. But like they've already broken me to like expect that, so I guess I was like, oh yeah, one of those shitty birds. All right, that's fine. This is what the show does.
I'm just like, when in cases like that, I'm like, just show nothing. Like just show a clear sky. Don't put this stupid looking fucking bird in there.
It didn't look good.
Nothing.
I mean, that's for sure. Would nothing have looked better? I guess, I mean, it would have looked more consistent with the art style of the show, that's for sure. So if that's what you're looking for, would have been a good way to go.
So now, I'm not going, like, early into episode 12, there was, I was kind of starting to feel like, is this going to be it? Am I finally going to drop Shield Hero? I feel like I think this every episode. Am I ready to drop Shield Hero? And then at the very end, something happens that makes me go, I guess I'm curious enough to know where that's going to go. And I will say, the scene where he tells off the king is great.
That was great. And tells him, honestly, that was real. Now that he is the big swinging dick with these godlike superpowers, it was dope to see him. The king's like, hey, tell me how you're so strong, piece of shit. I want to know. And he's just like, fuck you, suck my dick on your knees, beg me, and I'll tell you to the fucking king. That was super satisfying. Gotta say.
I mean, I am somebody who I have a problem with authority.
Sure.
You know, and like if in this situation, I would want to say the same thing, and like the only way you can get away with it really is just by knowing that you are stronger than the king. Yeah, by what power does the king rule if not through just the fact that he has the military that can stop you?
Exactly.
If you're stronger, you can just say, fuck you, I make the rules. You can either choose to participate with me, we can either have an alliance, or I can do whatever the fuck I want.
He does not need the king.
Cannot
he
stop
does
me.
not need him. Yeah.
It made me very happy to see the way that he just like straight up tells him, come kiss my fucking feet and I'll tell you the secret of my power.
I was almost, when I was watching that, I was expecting him to just do it and like gripe and be like, oh, yeah, fine, I'll fucking do it. But like now thinking about it logically, like he's got no fucking reason to do anything for this guy. So, I mean, just good consistency. Yeah. I wouldn't even have thought of that, but yeah.
Really glad they didn't concede at all on it, like that. He just knows. He knows he's stronger than anybody in this fucking kingdom. Like
he is officially.
And the king himself is kind of I mean, he's not even really the ruler.
Yeah.
I don't even know what authority he has, and I think at this point Naofumi kind of has just seen through all the shit and is like, I'm not gonna play your game. I'm not going to pretend that you are someone who can tell me what to do. Like, we are beyond this point. Like, you're going to have to drop any of these pretenses of what you think things are, because I'm telling you how it is. Love it.
It was cathartic, for sure. And, of course, Melty shows up later and is like, now, Fumi, you need to make up with the king. Wah. Shut up. But I mean, her heart's in the right place, right? She just wants, she's trying to protect the kingdom, and the king and the heroes working together. Yes, that's what they should do. Maybe they'll eventually get to that place. I don't know. But what'd you think of that? So at the very end, like I said, like Melty shows up to ask Naofumi to rejoin, and all of a sudden Naofumi's spider senses go off, and he senses something's going down. And then we see one of the knights. I mean, there was an ominous holding of a crystal ball. So maybe somebody was peering in. And we do see the king peering through a crystal ball earlier in the episode. So that could be an indicator. And the fucking knight, I mean, okay, whatever. The knight runs up and seems to attempt to kill Melty from behind when she least expects it. So there's a conspiracy afoot. And that was actually a great hook for the next episode. I very much want to see like where this all goes from here. And we're officially getting into territory beyond what I remember, so this is very happy for me. I did read a bunch
you
more.
Were way farther the manga.
I mean, I did. I remember meeting, like, I don't know. There was a guy who like used a scythe who I met, but like I don't know. I don't remember anything that happens beyond this point. But so is this like, is the king literally attempting to kill Melty? Is it perhaps the evil older sister who we know will do fucked up shit?
That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe they're trying to frame Shield Bro as the one who murdered her.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure. I think they could have probably set this up better to prevent him from preventing the murder.
There are so many better ways to like frame the Shield Knight for this shit. And Malty, I think I got her name right, like the older sister, that like she's executed those in the past. So you'd think she could, set this up a little bit better, even if she does want to fucking kill her sister, which is pretty fucked up.
I don't remember if this has been said in the show or if you told me this or somebody else, but as I understand it, the reason that the younger sister is the crown princess is that the older sister is a bitch.
I think that was said in the show, and I think that's what that's based on. So they said, I think the younger sister said, like, older sister was passed over because of her bad personality or something along those lines. AKA, she's a dumb cunt and a stupid bitch. So nobody wanted her as queen. So here I am.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I really just like, and I've been saying this for a little while, but like I kind of want us to just like move on from the king and Malty, and I feel like this episode gave us like the fact that Shield Bro just kind of put them in their place made me feel like, okay, they are over.
It does
they
feel
are
that
over
way.
As our villains. We're leaving the country. We are not talking about these guys anymore. We've got bigger fish to fry. You know, we're going to Shield Aria or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah, the Beastland world. I don't know.
Yeah.
The
place
Siltvelt.
obviously named after the Shield hero.
Siltvelt, I think it was. Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm ready to move on to the next phase, the next arc. Find some new bad guys. Find some new reasons for Shield Hero to be pissed off and angry.
Yes, that's what we need. He should come into new places. This is what I would do if I was writing this series long term. He should go to new places and encounter not just the same like moral issues every single place. That will get boring. It has to find like new moral like conundrums and problems. Like, you know,
Right.
he should go to the Beastland place. And I think they actually say in this episode that, like, those people are actually kind of, like, Beastmen supremacist. So, like, okay, that could be something for him to deal with.
Because there is two different Beastman countries, and the one he's going to is more favorable towards humans.
Okay,
Whereas the other one was the one that's, like, purely Beastman supremacy. But even just the fact that that exists means that there's some intrigue to Beastmen, that like we know there is a country that, you know, is fuck the humans.
Indeed.
Can't wait to see that place.
So that'll be good. That'll be good to see. I don't know. And he should go to a place where like, you know, I don't even know. Just like I want Shield Bro. So this series is kind of weird, kind of interesting. Like it started with this like deep, you know, what's the word? Fucking accusation, this false accusation against the Shield guy. And so it was a real social problem that he was dealing with. But it really does feel like we're just over that now. So and that was like core to a lot of people's enjoyment. And the moral issues are fundamental to a lot of what's happening in the show. So I just want like new, fresh ones for him to contend with and like prove that he's morally better. And just the same old stuff. That hopefully we're gonna move past and do some new stuff now of like, you know, the other heroes, like they're not taking this seriously. They need him to point out that like civilian lives matter, and the king and the older sister Malty or whatever, they're real assholes. Like, yeah, been there, done that. Let's get some new stuff going on. That's what we need now. And again, hopefully that is what is happening now. And if so, I'll be pretty happy about it.
I'm just really worried that we're gonna go into this next arc and it's gonna start with Malty had some kind of plan to murder the princess. We expose that it was that she's a bitch. You know, once again, Shield Bro accosts her. Then they go to the new place. They have to spend a while just like setting up camp before we have some kind of mystery of what's going on. And like, I'm just anticipating having to wait another 3 or 4 episodes before something intriguing or some kind of payoff happens.
Yeah.
And like right now, there's just because it's not just that the show has been kind of slow and hasn't really, you know, had any payoffs, but also that it hasn't really been setting anything intricate up. We know there's a lot of things we don't know, but we don't know how complex the things we don't know are. We don't know if all of these random disparate elements that we've heard about are all going to, you know, click into one. Like, oh, wow, like, now that we know the truth, everything makes sense. Or if it's just going to be like, oh, most of these random details are just world building and don't really contribute to the actual overarching narrative, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that, even in this episode, we see, like, I don't know, a retainer of Melty or something, as like a quickly, as, like, now Fumi's leaving the castle or whatever, just as, like, hey, just so you know, dude, you like your word of your good deeds like is spreading, like people are you know waking up to this shit. You've got allies out there. And she flashes him, you know, the little thing on the chain, the little like church symbol of the bow, the spear, and the sword. And she's like, watch out for these assholes. You know, these guys are no good. So again, this is speculation, but like I think what we're building to is a conspiracy. And I don't know, there's been a lot of details pointed to this by this point of like the church of those guys, like the church of the heroes is somehow tied in, because like Glass, who we saw in these episodes, she was specifically focused on the heroes. Like that was like her thing that she was doing something with that we don't know yet. I suspect there's going to be some connection of that like to the church's conspiracy. And like the way the king was talking, it sounded like he at one point in the episode, like he says something about how like he hates the Shield hero so much when Melty was talking to him, like because, and I don't know if this was serious or not, but it was like because if he lets him win, and which implied I think the demi-humans as well, it would like change the world, and it would like threaten his family, and he's trying to protect them. And I'm assuming that that's correct. So like, I don't know. Is this like, is this a thing where he's afraid of demographics changing and the beast men multiplying and pushing out the good white folk of this kingdom or something? I don't know.
I think we're setting up for a surprise, sympathetic, like, because, okay, so King and Malty, in the first arc, they're kind of painted as, like, the big bads.
For sure, yeah.
And now they're pathetic nothing, right?
Yep.
So what do you do with them if they are pathetic now, other than make them sympathetic, you know?
Yes,
It's something we see in anime a lot. You beat the bad guy, and then either they join your team, or you realize that, like, I'm thinking Lord Genome, you know? Like, it turns out he was trying to protect humanity this whole time, going about it in a way that was detrimental to their actual happiness. So, like, maybe the king... Maybe whatever happened to him on a personal level with the shield hero, you know, like, maybe the last shield hero really did rape his daughter or something. And, like, now he's trying to make sure that, you know, maybe there's a reason the two daughters have two different hair colors, if you know what I'm saying.
Indeed. Good point.
So, so maybe he has some sincere concern for why he should hate the shield hero. Maybe the last shield hero wasn't such a great guy. Or maybe he was, like, very anti-human, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
There's both possibilities that the king had a justified reason, or that he had an unjustified reason, but one that is like, you know, not necessarily sympathetic, but understandable. You know,
like, I mean, if he just like is racist against all beastmen, like maybe I don't know, when he was a kid, like his dad was killed by a beastman. I don't know. Like, it's not correct or right to be like racist like that, but like you can understand that motivation, and it would you know, guide his character, and we could, you know, maybe try to correct that or understand it or anything like that. So yeah, maybe it'll be something like that. Yeah, I don't know. But I the conspiracy of the heroes, and something's going on there. I'm a little skeptical it'll ever pay off in a satisfying way, because, like, how good could it even be? Like, I think what's just going to happen is, turns out that, you know, whatever, like, the church just, they love the spear, the sword, and the bow, and just because those are, like, good and better. And that's the thing. It's not going to be for any good reason, just like, you know, in general, racism isn't for any good reason. You just develop a prejudice for, you know, whatever maybe small experience you have or something, and you just come to hate that thing. And it's just going to be like, they just decide to hate those ones. And, like, logically speaking, what possible motivations could, like, Glass and her inevitable crew that we'll meet have? Like, I don't know, they gain superpowers by killing the heroes. When the heroes die, it, like, advances some sort of doomsday clock or something. They're going to wipe out humanity and start over. I don't know.
Best possible explanation is that the wave is a dimensional portal or portal between worlds.
Maybe they're trying to get home. I don't know.
That they have to destroy this world, or else their world gets destroyed. You know, like some kind of like it's you know, it's not just that we're trying to wipe you guys out for no reason, but that like we need your blood to satisfy the god that wants to eat our planet or something. Like,
it could be something.
Anything's
like that.
Possible.
Which,
you know?
I mean, that boils down to like a, you know, I don't know, a general.
But this is why I hate being strung along.
Yeah,
this
we
is
just
why
have
like,
to. Yeah.
Because it could be anything. It could be a good explanation. It could be a bad explanation. But the fact of the matter is that we could have been there already. We could have already made a lot more progress. And, you know, in general, the types of shows that I favor are just ones that would have gotten farther by this point. Because they have more going on, waste less time in each episode. And that's just what the show has been. It's taking fucking forever to say anything.
As always, read the manga, folks. You're just getting where you want to go faster. That's really all there is to it. If this whole story was just like twice as fast, if we got where we are right now in 6 episodes, that'd be like amazing. That'd be fantastic. Just like cut out a lot of the shit. It's all about managing intellectual content, you know, and not filling up too much time with a bunch of silly nonsense. Not that the show has been terrible, but, you know, we all know that some of these episodes have been weaker than others, and some of the pacing's been a little bit slow.
We all know that.
Well, okay, I suppose not everybody knows that, but I would encourage people...
I don't know if you... I don't know if you ever read the comments on these.
You know, I actually have rarely read the comments on these.
it usually, the comments go one of two ways.
Yeah.
Either it's, I can't believe you're still watching that show, it sucks. Or, you guys are just nitpicking, the show is great.
You know, I think it's almost inevitable that we get those kind of comments if we're, you know, just by virtue of this show and us, like, not, like, super loving it or anything. If we did super love it, that'd be one thing. But, you know, since we've got criticisms, the people watching are obviously going to be probably the most dire fans. Like, people who are kind of lukewarm will probably have checked out a while ago.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why I was like, that's why I was starting to be like, should we just drop it? Because, like, if I'm going to complain about every fucking episode, then it's not going to be fun for the people who are listening to it. Because, like, who would give a shit, you know? But like,
I know people do
at
enjoy.
the same time, it's I mean, I want to explore this because it's like this show is very much like writing the line of like what is like I right now with the way things have been going, I would probably give this show at present like a 5.5.
I was thinking like a 6 to 7 myself.
It's just barely enough that I keep watching it because I have some level of investment, and like I've made fun of people before for like the fact that all the show really needs is a strong start. Like as long as you get people invested, they will put up with a lot of shit. Yep. You know, if you want to see a perfect example, look at like The Walking Dead, where like season 1 is great, everything after it sucks, but it still ran forever, and more and more people keep falling into the opinion that the show has gone to shit over time, but they will just keep watching it because they're already invested.
And, you know, and once in a while...
I gotta know what's gonna happen to Dale, or what's his name? The fucking...
Rick,
what's the one
Rick, right?
No, who's the guy who everybody likes? I don't know. The one who's like a show original character.
Right, the guy with the crossbow, right? Who everybody loves?
Yeah, that guy.
Hideo Kojima's best friend, but I can't remember his name.
Daryl. Right.
Daryl, right?
Daryl, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, you know... the show might be bad, but I love Daryl, so I gotta know what's gonna happen to Daryl. And it's like, I'm kind of in that position with this show where, like, I formed an emotional connection to Naofumi in those early episodes, and having read the manga years ago. You know, like, I was legitimately interested in his arc and what he was going through. I really like his relationship with Raphtalia. I like how it was explored in the early episodes, but, like, you know, I just feel as though the show is capitalizing on my investment to do the minimum level of what it could possibly do to make me not turn it off, you know?
Now,
And meanwhile, I go over and I watch Slime, which just wrapped up, and I'm like watching, I'm trying to catch up with it, and I just watched a few episodes, and like that show, even though it is still, it's also pretty slow, and it's also not that exciting all the time. It's a lot of build up. It always feels like it's just building up and building up and building up and building up.
Okay.
But it's like the aesthetic is really good. The animation is really inventive and fun. There's tons of really like likable characters that I just want to watch just for the sake of watching them, you know? And like even when like almost nothing happens in an episode, I still come away with it feeling like, yeah, you know, that was pleasant.
Is the animation better than the show too?
Oh my god, like,
okay.
Worlds.
That right
universe
there
is better. That's like the biggest thing. It's like, even when an episode's kind of boring, like, you're gonna see something good looking, or not just that it's better animated, but just better directed as well. Like, scenes are paced nicely. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of small payoffs, small little dopamine hits you might get while, you know, along the way.
I feel you.
And then in this show, you'll be like, like, even though, like, sure, nothing's really going on, whatever, I don't care, but then a bunch of fucking CG horses walk up, and I can't ignore it. Like, I can't turn,
I mean, there's that. And, like, the directing of this
show,
show, and maybe even the soundtrack, is a little more subdued than I think is for its own good. I mean, like I've said, I've made comparisons to the anime, to the manga a lot, where, like, it feels more emotive and expressive and stuff, and, like, I do not think this show was well served by kind of toning that down to make it seem more serious, even if maybe that tone kind of helped in some ways at the beginning. But, like, I don't know. I definitely don't think it's, like, paid off. Yeah. And when, you know, with a show like this, we can sit here and, like, definitely talk about, like, how we hope things to go and expect things to go. But now that we're, like, 12 episodes in, you know, And again, I totally have different standards for manga versus anime. I just do, because anime requires more investment and takes longer to get through.
It's reasonable.
It's like, every once in a while, it's fair to stop and think. Like, am I overthinking? Is it possible that the show really just had a great start and is kind of just stringing us along with RPG elements? And it really, like, there's been no evidence that there's going to be any particularly brilliant, like, moral, like I was saying before, I want, like, new information, like, new moral conundrums, new stakes for Naofumi to come in conflict with. Is it likely that we're going to get that? At this point, I'm thinking definitely no. And, like, if one was to conclude that and be like, well, I've seen all I need to see, like, I would understand why someone feels like they can just check out at this point. Because, like, we know what's going to happen. Like, waves are going to come, and he's going to fight them. He's going to get more powers. We're going to learn about this mysterious organization that I'm sure is totally different than every other mysterious organization in every anime ever. Does this tome of this anime hold secret knowledge that will enhance our lives as human beings? And I'm not even expecting, like, a fucking show to be like a masterpiece with, like, a philosophy thesis in it about the particular way to improve our lives. I'm just saying, have we literally acquired, like, 95% of the, like, lesson of the show? I would say
The intellectual
probably.
content.
Yes, exactly. And I would say almost definitely yes. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. But
That's exactly what I'm afraid of.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
you are right about that, and, like,
it just
if-
feels
if-
that way, kind of.
yeah, I've felt that way about. There was something I just watched, like, recently, but I can't remember what. Where like after, it was Ayashi no Ceres, this show from the year 2000, where like the first couple episodes were pretty interesting, but then, like, between episodes like 3 and 6, it was very apparent that it was not going to change in any way.
Right.
And then I went and just skimmed the last episode just to, like, confirm, and, like, it was, like, literally what happened is what I could have predicted from the point I was at.
Indeed.
You know?
Indeed.
And it was just like, well, I guess there must have been 25 episodes of just, like, fucking around between here and there, because,
Yep.
you know, but, so I guess I want to posit a question to any of the audience who's made it all the way to the end here, which is, do you think we should keep doing this show? Like, do you want to hear us? Because I'm about to get very busy next month. I'm planning a move. You know, I'm sure a couple weeks are going to end up being late, which is fine.
Yeah.
And we can always do what we did with Made in Abyss and just come back at the very end and summarize our thoughts.
Although
on the
at this
whole
point
show.
we've got what, like 12 episodes left, I think, of the season.
There's a whole other season coming.
Right.
So, you know, we're at the end of the first cour. So, do you guys, like, do you want to keep hearing us talk about this show? Like, are we talking about this in a satisfying way to you? Would you say that, like, this is part of your enjoyment of the show, or do you get some sick pleasure out of just hearing us rag on it? Are you even watching it? You know, like,
I know some people will say yes, but the question is it enough to justify?
I mean, and it's funny because I know there's a lot of people who are probably listening every week, even though they hate it. Like, they don't like the things we're saying, they can't resist for some strange reason. But, like, because I want to assume that anybody listening, of course they want more because they're getting something out of it. Why else would they listen? But I know that's not the case. I know that there's people listening for no reason at all. So just let us know. Like, are you invested in hearing us talk about Shield Hero all the way through? Because, like, we can keep going, you know, but I don't mind. If it stays this way, you are gonna hear us continually complain.
That is true. That is true. Hey man, I'll do whatever you and the audience decide. I'm just here as a performer, so whatever they want.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week, or the week after that, or whatever.
Sometime soon. We'll see you
Whatever
around.
happens.
Bye.